Welcome back for another video. It's Eharbad, and in today's video, it is Hydra time. It's Monday today, which means, we've got just under 2 days until Hydra resets. I have 3 keys to do. We're going to be starting off in my Nightmare key, which is, I've been for a while using this composition, and people have asked me to do a video showcasing it, showing the builds and all the rest of it. I'm not going to run it multiple times. I'm going to run it once. I will run it full manual for this particular run because I want to see if I can get a new PB. I think my PB is about 150, 155 million roughly. One additional thing that I've had recently is I got my 5th star on Shamael. I do need to pick a blessing for Gnut. So, in the comments, tell me what you think I should go for. I'm probably going to end up getting Phantom Touch to be able to get a stable Fire Knight 10 hard team that is quick going, which is something I haven't done on the main account. I was way too busy this year on the free-to-play challenge. So now the main account needs a little bit of love and attention. We're going to start off in this run. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to insert the champion builds now. So we'll jump to that, but I'm actually going to go to the champion builds after the run when you can then sort by champion order. So they'll probably be inserted in here right now. And then we'll jump into the run. I will show a little bit about a manual. I'll show the beginning. I'm basically just going to record the whole run, and hopefully there'll be some interesting editing done where I'll kind of talk about certain situations. Try and keep it reasonably short. I don't want the video to be like an hour and a half long with the whole fight. That would be kind of ridiculous. But there should be some interesting moments, particularly, say, the setup at the beginning, or, when certain, when I'm killing certain heads and maybe I need to anticipate or hold back an ability. There will be some certain areas where it's probably worth having a little comment here or there. And I'm probably going to have to pause the run at some point and make dinner, so gotta do Hydra around your real life. Right then, if we go through the builds, I'm going to start with the support champions first, and Nekmo currently in a provoke set to try and help out that Kantra who's not quite got 100% sustain on the provoke, so having that does help. Another alternative that I've considered is maybe putting Nekmo in a cursed set to help maintain Hex, or back in Relentless, which is the original build I had. We have a look at the total stats, pretty quick at 290. I have, as you can see, tried to build some damage into Nekmo now. We're getting right up there at 230% crit damage with only 63% crit rate, so we'd like to increase that a little bit if I can. Obviously, we're getting the 500 attack from the blessing, so getting good value from that flat attack gain right there. And because I don't use any live arena, there's no arena gains, no area bonuses rather for me. Obviously enough accuracy there for Nightmare Hydra, and then a good amount of sustain. I like to try and target around 3k defense and 50k HP if possible, just slightly below on both measures. The next support champion we'll show is Ugo. Currently, I do have Cruelty, but now that Nekmo is also in Cruelty, I'm actually considering swapping this to wherever it is hiding to Miracle Heal. Now, I know that it won't work in terms of sustaining against when decay is up, but when decay dies, this would actually be pretty handy. In terms of gear, I have Relentless and Speed, and thanks to a couple of glyphs, now faster than the Gnut. Much higher on the effective HP. Ugo's damage is particularly bad, so I haven't actually built any damage into the build. Should mention here, because I'm generally relying on a decrease accuracy across the board AoE, which is coming from Kantra, I'm not actually running a single Mischief tank, so everyone is built with more than 250 resistance. I think 260 is the ideal minimum when you have decreased accuracy out there to have a very high consistent rate of resisting all of the debuffs across the board on Nightmare. So you'll notice that all of the builds have that amount of resistance, except for Nekmo, who, because being in lead, tends to cycle his buffs very quickly with the additional extra turn mechanic. It never ends up being that he has the most buffs. So I didn't bother building resistance on him, but on everyone else, we do have that. I should actually show the masteries. On Nekmo, we have a War Master, and then this is a classic setup for me on these Hydra champions. We've got Master Hexer, Cycle of Magic, and I do actually have Sniper, although you could say, is it really needed? My hope was that it would give me a little bit of a higher chance on the provoke, is basically the reason. Plus, we do have a slightly higher chance of decrease attack on the A1, so there's still small benefits to be had. Ugo has the exact same masteries, except I did pick Blade Disciple, as you get slightly higher stat value on Ugo with that flat attack. Next up is going to be Kantra, who is our main kind of debuffer and provoker. As a consequence, I do have her in Relentless to try and cycle back to that A2 as much as possible. We do have her in a Blood Shield ring as well to try and keep the buffs on her. I would prefer people focus their attention on her where possible, and I have previously used her as a more dedicated mischief tank in other builds and compositions. There's a bit of a legacy from that. As a consequence, I do have Lightning Cage as well to potentially have that extra buff in addition. But I could definitely benefit from someone in this team having Brimstone, which currently I do not have. In terms of the masteries, we do have War Master, same support build here as you've seen several times before. And if we go and look at the total stats, roughly 250 speed, just slightly below, a decent amount of damage in there, the resistance I need, the accuracy I need, and a good, healthy, effective HP there. These builds are not for the faint-hearted, they are pretty good. And I do have further space to improve them. Like I said, no area bonuses and not too much ascension on the gear yet. There's a little bit. You can see I've started to ascend the odd piece, but not that much yet. Now, the fourth and final support champion, Mithrala, in a stone skin, so I can use her a bit in arena with 2 reaction accessories. But I've also tried to build some damage into her as well. So we have enough resistance for the Hydra, obviously paired with the accuracy. I'm not in a really super high accuracy or super high kind of accuracy resistance combo going on, so she's a little bit weakened for arena at the moment, but I could easily switch that up, take out the crit rate gloves basically, give her some defense or HP gloves, and then put on an accuracy chest. Means that with a double gear swap, I can tweak her for arena if required. Pretty quick, still in that kind of speed range for me to use her as a cleanser in arena, and then pretty good on the effective HP, and her damage does come from defense. And I've picked a blessing with flat defense. Again, Temporal Chain's really more of an arena blessing. So I'm trying to fill that hybrid role. Once again, obviously, Stone Skin is very much focused on the arena rather than Hydra. So there would be definitely potential if I regeared her specifically for a Hydra key, we could potentially get some bigger numbers. In terms of masteries, I've actually reset them and forgotten to assign them. So there you go. Definitely some room for improvement right there. I forgot I'd done that. I did it when I was doing this rebuild here. And now I can't remember what masteries I was intending on going with, so I'm going to have to go away, figure that out. And we'll see if we can do some improvement next week with some masteries on Mithrala. Right, we only have 2 more champions left. I think we'll show the Gnut now, and then the Shamael last. Gnut is in reflex with crit damage set and has, as you can see, 1 refresh accessory at the moment. I'd like to try and increase that if possible. 267 speed, so on the quicker side with really good effective HP, mostly coming from the defense, which he also gets damage from. Max crit rate, pretty good crit damage, and then that resistance level I mentioned, and enough accuracy to be landing his debuffs. I have considered about swapping the Gnut build around and actually going for enough resistance rather to be a dedicated mischief tank, which would free up what I could do with the other champions. Would mean I would use the A2 considerably more, and that would be the extra buff to really make sure that I'm always directing mischief's attacks onto Gnut. We do have the option for a blessing here. As I kind of mentioned, could be Brimstone for Hydra, but probably will end up being Phantom Touch for Fire Knight 10. In terms of masteries, I actually haven't picked the second tree yet. We've gone down, we've got picked up Giant Slayer, but there's definitely a little bit of room to grow right there as well. Yeah, pretty good build overall. There's still also some room for improvement in terms of more gear ascension. Sadly, this one did roll flat attack, otherwise this was a pretty sweet chest right there. And the last but not least is Inquisitor Shamael, which is in a bit of a, mixy-matchy. We have 3-piece protection with a crit damage set, and the total stats are fairly obscene, to be honest. 5.2k attack with someone who has a very low base attack, 100% crit rate, pretty quick at 240 speed, nearly 300% crit damage. That resistance we need at 260. In terms of masteries, basically War Master and then a bit of defense tree. I probably should actually finish these, which would probably end up being Retribution. I don't know, Deterrence, probably. Not really much else to go for. Kill streak could potentially be interesting for other areas, but clearly I haven't picked them because they're not that important. Basically, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Those are the builds, and hopefully soon I will get that 6th level of Awakening, and that will be another nice big boost here. In terms of that 6-star, look at all those base stats. We're going to get another 100 attack, with 5% crit damage, another 10 speed, and obviously we go up to the 100% chance of bonus damage, which is pretty good, particularly with that 35% chance of inflicting a second instance as well. So, that triple hit A2 could do some extreme damage once I have that final start of Awakening. And those are the builds. On to the fight. So first off, I'm just going to buff with Nekmo. I would typically run this on sort of a semi-auto basis, and then kind of do a bit of head targeting, and then worry about the rest. So here with Gnut, I'm not 100% sure who's the best head between Wrath and Blight, but since Blight is positive affinity for me, I'm going to go for that. Let's get some damage out. One thing to note, obviously, is my Ugo is slightly slower now than my Gnut. I've changed a few things around that. Ideally should be the other way around. Maybe you could say I could have held back on using the ability. I'm going to buff turn meter by just going after Torment there. A1, get that turn meter buffed once more. Here, I will go for Mischief. Mischief generally is a good target to go for when you are in a position to do good damage. I like to try and get Mischief killed. I don't have decreased accuracy out on Mischief, otherwise I would have gone for an A2 with Gnut there. So instead, I'll just A1 Torment, and again, get that turn meter going. This will be pretty much the approach I'll take. Where possible, I'll target Torment with people that do low damage. With Shamael, I'll predominantly target Mischief, because I'll get best damage out of him on that, and I want to get the drop turn meter control. And then with the rest of them, with Gnut, I'll go for Blight, and with the rest of them, it will be just going after Torment. So what I will do is we'll jump back when there's something interesting going on, and we'll see how that's looking. Right, so here I would normally be targeting Mischief with Shamael. I would actually probably kill Mischief, but I'm actually going to go after the Deadhead because I get really good damage from Shamael on that A2 against a Deadhead. It would have been better if I'd had the third buff, but I did not. Argument that I should probably put a Blood Shield accessory on to Shamael just to make sure that I'm in a better position to have that 3 buff requirement for the ignore defense out more consistently. That's definitely a good option there. We do have decreased accuracy on Mischief, so I'm safe to use the A2, which will give me the weaken and a little bit more damage. Again, I'm just going to A1 the Deadhead with basically everyone. The only champion I wouldn't put into the Deadhead at this moment would be Gnut's A3, which I would put into one of the live heads, as you get additional damage multiplication from the the Hex buff onto the Deadhead, although the Deadhead does not currently have Hex. So that's another consideration to have. We should kill Mischief hopefully before this head actually respawns, because then I can drop the turn meter and get a little bit more value. So I'm going to see if I can get Mischief down before we get the head. I was unable to. It was worth the risk though. I feel like it was worth giving it a go. We do want to try and get the provoke up here. Killing Mischief at this point will give us a bit more turn meter. We need to either get up to 5 debuffs, which we're not having a great luck doing, or we need to be honest, at this point, I'll probably just let him use his ability. We got provoke through the provoke set from Nekmo, so we didn't need to worry. But with only one head up that's not currently dead, it wouldn't have been a big issue to let that happen. I'm going to hold off with the A3 because I'd like to hit it with Hex up across the board. And I think it'd be better to do that setup. Similar with Shamael here, I think we're in a good position to try and get that Hex out before these heads respawn, and that might ultimately give us a lot more damage. It's just really a question of can we... I don't think we're going to be able to actually, so I think I will just go kill the Deadhead. Actually, that was a mistake because that was where Mischief had been, so I should have gone there with Gnut. So you can always make mistakes. Mischief's now alive. We'll just put into that head there, that severed head. So it wasn't a great setup. We definitely lost a bit of damage per turn there. But yeah, sometimes you will make mistakes. It depends how good your fight management can be. I probably should have held. The mistake there was holding back Mithrala, to be honest. I will go for the A2. There's no Mischief out at the moment. We've got a good number of debuffs. We actually need to make sure we don't over cap here. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. We want to make sure that we leave enough space for provoke. And we just need to make sure we stay healthy. Got to keep the decrease attack on Wrath. I'd probably, when we have decay up, I think I kind of want to get Wrath killed, I think, to be honest. So as soon as the severed head has revived, I'm going to go after killing Wrath. The risk of having the debuffs cleansed and then being in a position where we take big damage from Wrath, given I don't have a reviver, is a particular concern. Given that we now have Poison Cloud up across the board, that is kind of painful. We will not be landing this decreased defense anywhere, so I'm just going to go for Wrath. We're pretty unlucky there in terms of timing, but that gives you a little idea of how minor adjustments on the fight can have fairly significant impacts in terms of the outcome. We'll survive this. We've got Strengthen up. It's not going to do too much damage. With decreased attack and Strengthen on us, we'll be okay. Like I said, no reviver, so we've got to really make sure we manage the fight well. 3 turns until consumption. I'll be holding back Gnut's A3 to ensure that we are able to get Shamael freed straight away. Hopefully this poison cloud thing won't be an issue, but I have a feeling Blight is going to consume Shamael and still have 1 turn remaining, which is going to be a problem. And then we also have Poison Cloud on decay. So I have a feeling that Cleanse is going to come out as well. I'm just going to keep holding back my my abilities, and as predicted, there we go. I'm going to hold back using the A3 at this juncture, but I'll just keep going after Wrath. Right now, I'm going to give myself Strengthen. I will give myself increased speed, but I'm going to hold back putting the decreased speed out there because we're going to get the Cleanse. So let's keep attacking Wrath. The damage per turn is completely taken a massive hit, right, with this setup. I was averaging around 1 million a turn. Now we are, 9 million shy of that. So it can happen very quickly that you get a little bit of bad luck and there's a lot of lost damage. We'll see. Let's just get this this champion freed, and then we'll resume. Oh no, there you go. Perfect example of we're actually going to have to start again. Right then, I've just done one small change. I wanted to sort out that speed difference. So now Hugo is going to go before Gnut, so we can really make sure that we maximize the damage on that first turn. Of course, we missed the decreased defense on several ones. So let's just try again. Might as well at least get the first turn set up nice, right? Why not? Seems sensible that we at least get that. And we failed again. But whatever, let's just go with it. I'm just going to go, even though there's weak hit potential, I actually just want to get Wrath killed. Wrath is a big risk, so it's worth just getting Wrath down. At this point, like I said, I'll go back to Torment. So yeah, basically, I'll rejoin you when there's something interesting to talk about, and hopefully it will be a less embarrassing run than the last one. I'm going to go for a bit of a setup here. Get the decreased speed out on both of these severed heads. I keep trying to cycle back. I want to get good damage on these severed heads. This one was Mischief. Sure, I target with the correct people on each head. See if we can get the Hex out if possible. I'm going to hold back. Yeah. I'm ignoring. Let's just go with A1. Kind of should hold back the A2 for when we get respawns. Ideally. Frustratingly, we are quite a few turns away. So let's just keep boosting the turn meter of Nekmo and see if we can get that good setup for big damage. I'm going to hold back the A2. I want to have the decreased speed ready when we do get respawns. We've got the Hex out. We've got the decreased defense. Again, right there. We now got 3 severed heads, but no decreased defense and no... well, we've got the decreased speed out, but no Hex either. I'll just do the AoE hit. Why not? It gets good damage across the board. And still got a decent amount of turn. I might get back to the Gnut in time, actually, for an A3. So here we'll go for the Mischief. You can see we did really good damage. Nice setup. Smash damage across the board. And with our Gnut, I'm actually going to go for the one champion that does not have Hex, because I'll get splash damage from the Hex on the other 3. So bang, bang, bang. Good smash damage across the board. Right, let's come back when we have something else to discuss. I'm going to hold the A2 back here. Again, I'll target the one without the Hex. Hold back the abilities when I want to. again here, I'm going to hold back the A2 until these two respawn. Probably just go for the severed head here. Hopefully we'll get the provoke out. But if we don't, it's not really the end of the world. I probably will risk another A2 just for the good damage. The A2 I'm going to hold back here as well. Who is the better target? I actually don't know. We'll just A1 there. And again, I'm going to hold back on the A2 because we don't have Poison Cloud coming out. We probably will get a, a cleanse from Decay. So I'd rather let Decay do the cleanse, and then I can use all of my abilities. That's pretty much where we are. So again, I'm going to hold off on the A2, just target the severed head. I want to get this counterattack off pretty soon, actually, to be honest. Because I really don't want Mischief to eat it. I should have held back the A2 there as well, but I didn't. Get the decreased speed out now. Hopefully we get Ugo. Yeah, we do. Block buffs. And I will hold off the A3. We've got 3 turns until consumption. So I want to have my skill cooldown for that. Plus I want to get the Hex out. So let's do that right now. And we'll just go for the severed head. Decrease, or rather increase our speed. Now we're back in control. We transitioned. Again, we took a massive damage hit during that transition. Like I said, we don't have decrease accuracy out at the moment, so I'll just go A1. Right, let's rejoin when there's something interesting. Getting really, really bad luck here. Basically, I keep getting weak hits on Nekmo and losing the decrease attack on Wrath, then having a champion die, which doesn't normally happen in this setup. Because we have 2 forms of decrease attack, or 3 in fact, with Gnut, so that's kind of very rare. It doesn't tend to be something I see happen. Anyway, I think you've got a rough idea of the intent on the team. I will run it again, and what we'll do is we'll just rejoin at the end, and you can see what I've got done. It's been a bit of a frustrating showcase. Not the best showcase, really, is it? Anyway, I'm gonna make some dinner, then I'll come back and I'll try again. Unfortunately, I think this video is going to draw to an early close. Basically, Mischief consumed Mithrala with the final turn of Hex up, and I've used 2 Gnut A3s and a Shamael A2 trying to hit this Mischief, and all of them have been redirected. So, it's just... I don't have any AoE hits, basically. I'm very much reliant on that cursed debuff to be able to target Mischief. Anyone else had consumed would have been fine. If we'd had 1 turn of Hex, would have been fine. Now, it's probably my fault. I realistically should have considered what was going on and held back by 1 turn the A2 on Mithrala, and made sure that when consumption happened, I had a copy of Hex up across the board, but I didn't. So no PB is on the cards this week. I'll carry on with this key though. 122 million from 160 turns is pretty good damage per turn, and it will be enough anyway to do the Hydra clash and get a decent overall score. We've lost our increased attack, we've lost our increased defense, we've lost our Hex. We've lost a lot. But, and we probably won't be able to free Gnut either when does eventually get eaten. So yeah, I will rejoin you again right at the end of the run. We'll see what the splash damage looks like, or the splash screen rather, with the damage. Probably shouldn't have A2 just there with Gnut, but we're making some mistakes later on in this run. One of the things, it's a bit of an endurance, we're an hour into this run, and it was our third attempt in the end after some really awful RNG on the first two. Yeah, so I will basically join you at the end. Yeah, I'll see you in a minute. And we had a repeat situation. Mischief once again consuming one of our champions. I'm just letting it full auto now. I can't be bothered to do anything else. Obviously, this time Gnut manages to land the A3, but not that it was going to do anything there through a poison cloud. I'll at least attempt to free my champion with a bit of targeting, but it is what it is. In the end, we'll have ended up getting like 135 million. And you can see that if we hadn't had that bit of bad RNG, we can really push along and, survive to at least 200 turns. I think we could probably go a bit further, which is why, 150 we know is achievable. But beyond that, could I get to the 200? I don't know. I think I might need to change something up within the team to get to the 200. Potentially have some ideas. Could be Michinaki in for Mithrala. In any case, 135 million is a pretty good going, just over an hour. So it didn't take too long. Good sort of damage per minute, if you will. I guess that's 2 million a minute. You can see most of the damage coming from Gnut, and then Shamael doing good work as well. Mithrala, most of that's coming from the Hex. And a little bit of damage from Nekmo and Kantra as well. Obviously, through the powers of editing, I showed you the builds already. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please do a like, comment, and subscribe. And I think maybe next week we'll be trying a slight variation of this team. Trying to get that Michinaki in for Mithrala for a bit more damage. And then obviously, given that we have decrease defense and hex coming there, we could potentially swap Ugo for a different champion as well. Tricky, I'm not sure. The balance on the team is very, very precise, but I'd like to give it a go. So once again, thanks for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.